We're going through. Welcome back to another episode of Life is Too Short, where you find us driving up onto the Pennines. We're on top of the world, having some biscuits. Now that things have calmed down in the van a bit, I can focus more on filming, and it's time to get the drone up. We're at the top of the Hartside Pass, and this is the Hartside Cafe, which sadly burnt down in March 2018. The pass rises to 1900 feet, and the cafe was a famous haunt for motorcyclists riding the A686. We've had a lot of rain and the van is dirty, so it's time to give it a bit of a wash. We are crossing over into Northumberland. We're pulling into the village of Allendale. This is an old lead mining village, and it was on the up and up when the railway was connected to the town. But unfortunately, that occurred just as the price of lead crashed and the railway fell into disuse. We're entering County Durham, land of the Prince Bishops. There's an old mine on the right. Let's see if we can get a closer look. This is Allen Heads, and it has one of the last remaining lead mines, although it's now fallen into disuse. A drone is a wonderful tool for filmmaking. It allows you to reach things that are simply impossible. This mine was first opened in the 1880s, but within 2 decades the lead mining industry had crashed and the mines fell into disuse. It's getting cold now. We don't know where we're staying yet, so I better land the drone and move on. We had our evening meal watching the wind turbines at Redcar seafront. Later that night, in the pouring rain and the howling wind, we wild camped in the Catnap car park at Saltburn. This is the Saltburn Cliff Lift, one of the world's oldest cliff railways. It's operated through the power of water. I have so many happy family memories of being at the seaside. My parents used to have a caravan and we went away frequently. Hello, two please. The money sack. Water is poured into the top car, and when it gets heavy enough, its weight causes it to descend and drag the other car upwards via these cables. This is the village of Staithes, a small seaside town at the bottom of a very steep hill. The weather was appalling, with drizzly rain and low clouds at some points, but that's why we chose to come away at this time of the year, because there's no better test for the camper van.
There except mist.
We're moving on to Whitby Abbey, where, for a brief moment, the sun came out. Whitby Abbey was a 7th century Christian monastery that later became a Benedictine abbey. We found the whole campervan experience totally different to caravanning. In a campervan, you're always moving on, going from attraction to attraction. And we found ourselves being up very early in the morning and not pulling up to park until late at night. So we saw sunrises and sunsets that we just never used to see in the caravan. We're doing our usual trick of eating the takeaway in the van and nobody has a clue we're there. Tonight we're going to be wild camping in a place called Cowhouse Bank Car Park, which is in the middle of the woods. When the weather is awful, you need some contingencies, and one of ours is to go and see a film. So we're off into York to see Downton Abbey. To be honest, I thought I would fall asleep during this film, but I ended up actually really enjoying it.
16 nights.
16 nights.
And so that's 13 wild camps.
Team Wild Camps. This was a good one. Let's see a few campers can go. Yeah.
We're having a walk round in Belper because later on we're going to be meeting some friends, Sharon and Will, who we met through our Facebook group, Aikai Zen. This is Belper Mill. If you want to know how our ancestors harnessed power, just spend some time walking around one of these places. Cotton mills were very prone to fire, and this is the first mill that was built that was considered fireproof because it had an iron framework construction. The mill was first built by Jedediah Strutt in 1786. In 2001, it was given UNESCO World Heritage status. This was the final attraction that we visited on this trip. We've come to a place called Whitby Abbey, which is run by the National Trust, and it's a house that has been left as they found it.
We'll find out, will we?
Hello.
Hello. Right. Hiya.
Thank you. Have you got a ticket? Lovely. Have you been before?
No, no.
Okay. Right. Well, it's self-guided round to Cork. This gives you a brief description of each room as you come to
Right.
it. But there's lots of adults about to talk to. Start off here in what was the luggage entrance. Little room on the left is the waiting room where people have waited to pay the rent. Round to the right there's a small living room with caricatures on the wall, and then you go off up the stairs.
Okay.
Just keep following round. You haven't got a big bag, have you? There is a place to either leave your bag or if you can carry it like a handbag.
Yeah.
There's lots of glass cabinets.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Engineering on, I think it's still on the building, but the business finished a long time ago. But that's where the donut money came from.
Oh look, an early shower by IKEA. We found the tunnels underneath the property very spooky indeed. This is our last wild camping spot on this trip, right by a canal. On the way home the following morning, we stopped off at Runnymede to take a look at where they signed the Magna Carta. These are known as the jury chairs, and they signify aspects of human rights. We didn't actually make it to the Magna Carta Memorial because the skies opened and we had to turn back. Further along the path and into the woods is a memorial to John F. Kennedy. The words on the memorial are very powerful, so I'll give you plenty of time to read them. We had a brilliant time on our first trip and we hope you enjoyed riding along with us. If you did, like and subscribe to see more travels from our little red camper van.